All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You guys know the drill, right? You send us all those links, articles, interviews, all that good stuff, and we take a deep dive into it. We pull out those golden nuggets of information for you so you can feel totally in the loop without having to spend hours combing through everything yourself.
That's right. Today, we're tackling one of those requests that really piqued our interest.
It's juicy. It's a celebrity relationship, and it's one that a lot of you have been buzzing about.
We're talking about Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco.
Yep, and specifically, we're diving into this really in-depth interview they did with Shetty. It's called, appropriately, Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco Exclusive, How Benny Taught Me to Trust Again.
And what's so fascinating about this particular interview, I think, is the honesty. They really go there talking about everything from their first encounters, and those are interesting, to the challenges they've faced, long distance, public scrutiny, all of that.
All while navigating those crazy careers. And, spoiler alert, they even get into their engagement. So get ready for some surprising anecdotes. This is a peek behind the curtain of a very public relationship. But what I think will resonate with all of us, whether you're a pop star or not, are the underlying themes. Building trust, vulnerability, communication. It's about how to make a modern relationship work.
Right. We're pulling all this from the transcript of the video interview, which you can find on the Jay Shetty Podcast YouTube channel. And, our mission today is to understand the essence of their connection. What makes their relationship tick? What are the key takeaways that apply to all of us?
So let's start at the beginning. Their first meeting is, well, it's kind of funny when you think about how things ultimately unfolded.
It's ironic, to say the least. Apparently, when Selena was 16 and Benny was in his early 20s, Selena's mom actually tried to introduce them. She was, trying to connect Selena with people in the music industry. Totally understandable.
Supportive mom.
Exactly. But here's the kicker. Neither Selena nor Benny remembers that meeting at all. Not a single thing.
It's like it never happened.
Which I think kind of speaks to the fact that sometimes those seemingly important moments, they just don't stick. Life has its own timing.
Absolutely. And in this case, the real connection came later. Now, Benny, he does remember having a deeper conversation with Selena, maybe around 2016, 2017, in a studio setting. He said he was struck by how complex and deep she was as a person.
Interesting.
Yeah, he clearly had a strong impression. But again, Selena's response was, nope, doesn't ring a bell.
So it just goes to show how differently people can experience the same event. You never know what someone else is taking away from a conversation.
Right. Perception is everything.
Okay.
So fast forward to when they actually worked on a song together for the first time. And there's another interesting dynamic there. Benny admitted he was feeling pretty nervous going into that session, him and the director both. Probably a bit intimidated by Selena's, pop star aura.
Makes sense.
But he said Selena completely disarmed them with her warmth. He walked away thinking she was cool, which is good, but still, no romantic vibes from his side.
Still professional. And what about Selena's take on that first collab?
She basically just remembers having a good time.
Yeah.
No sparks on her end either. But to be fair, Selena admits that she tends to be cautious. She doesn't open up easily, especially in the music industry, where she's always felt a bit guarded.
Understandable, given her level of fame.
Totally. And after that project, she didn't really stay in touch with Benny, which led to a whole other awkward situation. Benny actually thought she didn't like him. He'd see her and wonder if he'd done something wrong. He even said his friends would comment that she acted weird around him.
Ouch. That's gotta sting.
It did. And Benny, bless him, thought he was being respectful by keeping his distance. He was trying not to be pushy, but it backfired.
Miscommunication at its finest.
It really is.
Yeah.
It highlights how important clear communication is. Just a little check-in. Hey, is everything okay? Could have saved them a lot of angst.
For sure. Assumptions can be relationship killers. So when did the shift happen? When did things start to change between them?
It seems like the real turning point was their collaboration on Single Soon. Selena was working on the song, and this is kind of ironic because at the time, she wasn't actually single. Benny offered to help out, even though one of his team members was already involved in the writing process.
So he went out of his way to be part of it.
He did. And apparently he was still unsure about Selena's feelings toward him. He even talked to John Janik, the president of Interscope Records, about it.
Wow, he really wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Janik encouraged him to just go into the session and try to smooth things over. He said, maybe there's a miscommunication.
Which makes total sense based on what happened before.
Right. So Benny goes into the session, and right before he walks in, Selena's engineer warns her, hey, Benny's coming. And that's when Selena started to think about why she might have been keeping her distance. She realizes she gets nervous when producers are watching her sing.
Interesting. It's such a vulnerable position to be in.
Totally. She explained that she prefers recording with just her engineer and maybe one other person she really trusts because it's such a personal, intimate process. So initially, she was just expecting a quick 10-minute chat with Benny.
Keep it light, keep it professional.
Exactly. But those 10 minutes turned into 30, and even after she was done recording, Benny stayed in the other room. And that created this unexpected space for them to actually connect, on a human level.
Away from the music, away from the pressure.
Right, so that's where things started to shift.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did they go from awkward misunderstandings to romance? What sparked that change?
Well, going into that single soon session, Benny said his intention was just to be friendly. He wanted to clear the air, basically. But they ended up talking about life, dating, just really normal stuff. And then, get this, Benny suggested Selena join his single guy friends for dinner. He wasn't even trying to hit on her.
Oh, Benny. But that shows how comfortable they were becoming.
Yeah, it was casual. And then there was this funny anecdote about Selena sending Benny intentionally ugly selfies. They were joking around about taking bad photos.
We've all done it?
Right. But looking back, Selena admitted it was weird, considering she was already developing feelings for him at that point.
It's those awkward early stages of a crush. Then comes the first hangout initiated by Selena, a friend's birthday party, and this is where their perceptions were totally different. Selena thought it was a date. Benny did not.
Classic. So how did that play out?
Well, they had a drink at a wine bar before the party, and Selena casually dropped the hint that she considered it a date. Benny was caught off guard, clearly.
Oh, a little bit of a turning point there.
Definitely. And the first kiss. It happened spontaneously after a game of We're Not Really Strangers at Benny's place.
That game can get deep.
It can. And Benny's reaction after that kiss is really telling. He said he just knew right then that Selena was the one. He said it was totally different from anything he'd felt before. It wasn't just attraction. It was like finding his best friend who he could also kiss.
That's powerful. And Benny actually mentioned that before he even met Selena, he had worked with his therapist to create a list of qualities he was looking for in a partner. Kindness, compassion, genuine caring. Those were his top priorities. Sounds like he recognized those qualities in Selena.
He did, which makes their story even more heartwarming. But Selena did mention being cautious, having walls up due to her life in the spotlight. How did she overcome those barriers and really trust Benny?
She specifically said it was Benny's honesty. He was always upfront about his feelings, and that made her feel safe enough to be vulnerable in return.
Safety and trust are everything. And they both talked about how the timing felt right. They'd both done a lot of personal growth and were ready for this kind of deep connection.
Benny joked that maybe his idea to introduce Selena to his single friends actually disarmed her. Like, see, I'm not hitting on you. And Selena even said she had considered adopting at 35 if she hadn't found a partner by then. That shows how guarded she was.
Right. And she gave Benny a lot of credit for seeing her for who she truly is beyond the fame.
Selena also talked about how she used to be very reactive in relationships. She said that's partly why she was single for 5 years. She needed to collect herself. She doesn't think she would have been ready for Benny 10 years ago.
That's a great point. Sometimes we need that time alone to grow. But their relationship hasn't been without its challenges, especially with their busy schedules and the long-distance thing. How do they make it work?
Trust, that's the key.
Yeah.
Selena said it's the most important factor. And for her, even those small gestures like regular check-in texts throughout the day made a big difference. It was that consistency that made her feel secure.
It's the little things, right? That reassurance that you're on someone's mind. And Benny was very understanding of Selena's need for that. He knows that past experiences can make someone more sensitive, especially with long distance. He was proactive about sending those texts, keeping her in the loop.
He got it. And he made a really interesting point about listening. He said, women are often very clear about what they need. It's just a matter of men actually listening without getting defensive.
Truth. Just listen.
Exactly. And Benny said his approach is to trust Selena completely until she gives him a reason not to. He trusts her character, who she is at her core. That kind of mutual trust is huge. Of course, with Selena's fame, there's that added layer of public scrutiny. How did they deal with that?
Well, at first they kept their relationship private, which is understandable. They wanted to protect it. But when things got serious, Benny said he didn't care about the potential backlash anymore. His feelings for Selena were more important.
That's a good place to be. And Benny seems to have this amazing ability to just ignore negativity, online comments, tabloids, whatever. He doesn't let it get to him.
Yeah. It's like he's immune to it.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure helps Selena a lot. She's been through a lot of public scrutiny.
She has, and she talked about the pressure women face in the public eye, the constant judgment about appearance, weight, relationships. She said it creates a lot of insecurity.
It's so unfair.
It is, but Selena, she refuses to be a victim. She's definitely resilient. And what was really powerful was their shared desire to make it cool again, to care for people and be cared for. Selena feels like kindness isn't always seen as cool, which is sad.
Yeah. They both really value authenticity and emotional honesty. And Benny said he thinks it's cool to show your emotions, to be affectionate. He doesn't understand the whole tearing people down thing.
It's more fulfilling to lift each other up.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Okay, let's talk about the I love you moment. How did that happen for them?
Selena actually said it first. During a trip to New York, she said it was a big step for her because she'd never been the one to say it first before. She wanted Benny to know how serious she was, and of course she was nervous, but incredibly relieved when he said it back.
It's always a nerve-wracking moment.
It is. Now, Benny's memory of the first I love yous is a little different and pretty funny. He said Selena said it once when she was coming out of anesthesia, and then another time, casually, when they were with friends.
So, not exactly romantic.
Not really. But
Yeah.
the official I love you, the one that really mattered, was in New York. Benny was actually planning to say it there, but Selena just couldn't wait.
And once they said it, they both felt this urge to say it all the time.
It's like the floodgates open, right? Fast forward to the engagement. Selena said she thought she was going to a photo shoot, so she was all ready, hair and makeup done. But then, as they were driving, she realized they weren't going where she expected.
So she started getting a little suspicious.
Yeah. And then she walks into a room that's all set up, and her assistant shuts the door behind her. That's when she knew.
Cue the happy tears.
Yeah.
Selena described it as a surreal moment. She was in total shock, but in a good way. She said it was one of the best days of her life. And knowing Benny, he probably planned it perfectly.
He did. And Benny's take on the proposal is pretty classic. He said he wasn't nervous at all leading up to it. He was actually working on music tracks right up until the last second. But then, right before he proposed, he had a moment of panic. Like, what am I going to say? He doesn't even remember the exact words.
It's the nerves.
It is. He also had a really sweet thing to say about marriage. He said it wasn't a priority for him until Selena, but now it's something he cares about deeply because it's important to her.
It's true love right there.
It is. And speaking of thoughtful gestures, remember Selena's most memorable gift from Benny? It wasn't some fancy jewelry or anything. It was Whataburger, that Texas fast food chain that she loves.
So thoughtful.
Right. He even went out of his way to find one in Vegas just to make her happy.
It's those little things that mean the most. They mentioned they haven't started wedding planning yet, but they're enjoying this phase, just being engaged. And then there's the new album they collaborated on.
Yes. It was recorded at home with friends, super intimate and comfortable. And Selena said the songs aren't all about their relationship. Some are about Benny's past experiences, too. It sounds like the whole process was really meaningful for both of them.
Selena described it as a safe space, a place where she could talk about things she wouldn't normally share in a more formal studio setting. And apparently, Benny would write down Selena's dreams for song inspiration. That's so cool.
It is, and the collaboration seems to have brought them even closer. Benny gave Selena a lot of support during the recording process, and she appreciated that.
She said she felt no pressure, which was a welcome change. They also worked with Gracie Abrams, who Benny's been a fan of for years. They found that they communicated really well during the creative process, setting boundaries and expressing their opinions without letting their egos get in the way. Their goal was to make something they were both proud of, to capture this moment in time.
That's beautiful. Looking toward the future, Selena talked about how much she loves kids and how excited she is to be a mom someday. Benny said he's seen how naturally she connects with children, even though she's shy in big groups. He thinks it might be because of her early career working with kids on TV.
Oh, that's adorable. They ended the interview with a cute couples game. It was fun to get those little insights into their personalities. Benny correctly guessed that Selena would want him to cook steak, and she said she loves his corn dip.
Sounds delicious.
Right. Selena, in turn, knew Benny would want her to cook corn. And when asked what skill their partner could master instantly, Selena said everything for Benny because, he's multi-talented.
He is.
Benny thought Selena would choose the ability to sleep through the night, which I think a lot of us can relate to.
For sure. And, surprise, Benny's hidden talent is knowing every episode of Friends by heart.
Oh, no.
Apparently, Selena didn't. Their perfect date night sounds pretty low-key. A hot tub for Selena, good food cooked by Benny, just a chill night in. But get this. Benny has a huge fear of flying. He used to take a boat to Europe.
Wow, that's commitment.
It is. To make Selena laugh, Benny will dance, rap, or share random facts. And Selena's funny faces and teasing always make Benny laugh.
Couples who laugh together stay together, right?
Definitely. When asked about the one thing they couldn't live without, besides each other, Benny said his mom, and Selena said her space heater. Priorities.
We all have them. And last but not least, Benny's most memorable gift from Selena was an actual piece of art from the set of her favorite show, Will and Grace. Selena's most cherished gift from Benny was a framed picture of their very first text exchange.
So sweet. So, stepping back, what are the big takeaways from Selena and Benny's story?
I think it's clear that trust and vulnerability have been essential for them. Benny's honesty really allowed Selena to open up, and communication has been key, especially with the distance and their busy lives. They make an effort to understand each other's needs.
And despite the pressures of fame, they've found a way to prioritize their relationship. They support each other, they make each other laugh, they value those small gestures of love.
It's a really beautiful story, and I think there's a lot we can all learn from their journey, whether we're in the public eye or not.
Absolutely. Their willingness to be so open and honest about their experiences offers a valuable look at the realities of modern relationships.
So, to our listeners, we encourage you to think about what resonated with you. How might you cultivate more honesty and vulnerability in your own relationships? And how can you prioritize those connections, even amidst the craziness of life?
If you're interested in hearing more from Selena and Benny, definitely check out the full interview on the Jay Shetty podcast. It's definitely worth a listen.